All right, let's get started. This video is specifically going to go through the syllabus and kind of further explain the mechanics of how the semester is going to work here. So you have a link on Canvas that says syllabus, and it'll take you to this, so you can open it up, follow along. Might be easier to read than it is in this format. So what are we doing in this class? We're going to watch 15 films over 16 weeks that are full-length features, what they call features. This week in Module 1, since you haven't had time to go find the films that I want you to watch this semester, I have found and embedded a short film so you don't have to order something for this week, but you do have to order it for the following week. So we'll get to the list of movies in a second, but you're going to watch a movie every single week. And then my goal is to move you from a passive, regular audience member to somebody who actively is analyzing what's going on in the movie. So just a heads up, I hear this frequently, is that at some point in this class you're going to be watching a regular film with your friends and start pointing things out, and you can be ostracized for that. So just a heads up, how you watch film going forward will probably change after you finish this class, probably during. What the class is not, it's not a let's go to the movies on Friday night. Okay, so you're probably not going to show these films that I'm going to have you watch to your friends. They're meant to be decoded. They're meant to show you certain things in the development of cinema over the decades, and it will be of interest to you in the class. But it may be difficult for people that don't understand what we're doing to sit and watch. So there are no Marvel films. There's no Avenger films here. But I do promise you, if you stick with the class and learn the terminology and understand what's going on, that you will watch those films that you enjoy with a far more critical eye. I'm going to ask you to do critical analysis, and I'm going to give you the terms for that, for the films. And that's how we're going to stay objective when we analyze these films. So in the discussion board and in your communication with me, I'm not really interested in whether you like or dislike a film. It's not about like and dislike. It is about saying, what I don't like this director's approach to the cinematography. It's too dark. I can't see images in there. It's a texture that I'm unfamiliar with. You will see that culture to culture, the colors, the textures change. Though that's a way to critically analyze a piece, and you're welcome to make those statements. But whether you simply like or dislike something is really not of interest to us here in the class. Student outcomes, here's what I hope you do. You're going to have an opportunity to explore these 5 areas for every film, and that's writing and directing, the cinematography, the editing, the sound, and the acting. And I've got supporting documentation that'll explain what these things are. I do hope that you understand the arc from where we go in 1945 and be able to identify how it gets very sophisticated. Simple, complex story structure, we're going to cover those things. And then at some point in this class, it's going to dawn on you that there's a distinct difference between a simple commercial film and then a cinematically artful film. And that distinction will become clear to you pretty quickly. Here's probably the most important part of the syllabus. There are no extra credit assignments. Don't ask. I don't give them out. We don't do extra credit I don't do makeup exams. At 5 p.m. on a Monday, the module closes for that week and the new module opens up. Okay? So it's up to you. I don't send out reminders. It's up to you to build a schedule where you can get your work done. And one of the mistakes that people make is they'll carve out that time right before 5 p.m. on a Monday. The problem is if they have any kind of situation where they can't get to their computer and they can't get the work done by 5 p.m., they don't get credit for that week. So I highly, highly recommend that you pick a day that is earlier in the week or over the weekend, and you just build that into your weekly schedule where you can take care of the class. So I haven't done a test on it, but my guess would be of the people that didn't succeed in the class last semester, 90% of it was because they didn't build a good organizational calendar and schedule to get the work done. If you do what I'm asking you to do every week, you're going to get through this class. That's if you're watching the movies, you can answer the questions that I'm going to ask you in the quiz. I can tell by the way you post and what you're saying whether it's making sense or not. And if it's making sense, you're going to be fine. Okay? But you got to do the work. I do have a disclaimer. Some of the content in the films, if you have a moral objection to the content, it's certainly not a requirement to sit through that film. But in that case, you need to reach out to me as soon as possible. You can't do this at 4:59 on a Monday and tell me that all of a sudden you object to the content. You need to do this early on so that you and I have time to create an alternative assignment. Nobody's ever actually taken me up on this, but I think it's important for you to know that the choice to sit and watch something is yours, and I'm not demanding that from my point of view. Okay? How does attendance work? Well, attendance in Canvas in an online class is calculated behind the scenes, and it's how much time are you in the software. It can track that. Are you doing everything that we ask of you? So are you watching the lecture? I have a breakout page with contextual supporting videos that'll help you understand stuff. Are you watching those? Are you taking the quiz? Are you posting in the discussion board and then reposting to two of your colleagues' comments? All those things add up to what amounts to your attendance in an online class. Now, the advantage, obviously, is you get to pick when you do that. The disadvantage is nobody's there to tell you to do that. So if I can stress anything here, it's build yourself a particular time and day to carve out the time you need to work through the module. And again, deadlines are firm. There is no extra credit except the first 2 weeks where we start with extra credit. And before I get there, if you do have special needs, most all of this stuff is closed caption. If you get your films from Netflix, they'll be closed captioned as well. But if you are a special needs student, reach out to me right away and let me figure out if we need to do anything beyond what we've already built into the course. All right, so here's how the weeks break out. Here's your films. I'd be surprised if you've seen half these. Now, sometimes that happens. We get real cinema buffs in here, but not often. One of the things that you'll notice as you glance through is probably half these films were not made in Hollywood. And that usually comes as a surprise to folks in class. And there's a specific reason that I do that, and we'll get into that throughout the semester. So what's a semester look like? First of all, I want to go back here. If you're going to use Netflix, and I sign up with you, so I make sure that the films are available, you need to order your film in advance if that's how you're going to watch it. Okay, so for Module 2, you want to go to Netflix, and actually what I do is I put all these in my DVD queue, and then they come to me automatically. You only have to do it once, put it in the order, the proper order, and you'll have your films well before the new module starts. Works pretty well. So for Module 2 next week, the film that we're going to watch is Amelie. You want to order that now. So order that, Bicycle Thieves. And order, I know Dinosaurs did this, right? You guys all stream. If you can find these movies and stream them, great. But if not, I make sure that these films are available through Netflix, but you have to order the DVD. Their streaming service is really limited, and it's not very deep at all in terms of historical cinema. So DVD is the way to go with these. So what you're going to do Monday at 5 or some point thereafter, the module opens up to you for that week. You want to work through it page by page. I've condensed it as much as I can. I really try not to ramble too much. The information I'm trying to give you, I try and be as concise as I can so that we can move through the module as quick as we can. You need to watch the lecture, read the assignment, watch the contextual videos. It helps explain things. Then you need to watch the film. I really urge you not to watch that 7-minute highlight of the movie. I'm going to ask you questions in the quiz that it probably doesn't answer in there. Okay? So watch your film, take your quiz, then you're going to go to the discussion board and post a comment to the question I've stated. When you're looking at the discussion board, you won't be able to see anybody else's post until you post, okay? So don't let that throw you off. It's waiting for you to make your original insight statement. Once you post, it'll open up everybody else who has posted at that point. And then you want to go in and you want to read a couple and you want to comment back to those folks. Proper etiquette is very important. I want you to be professional, and I want you to stick to, you can disagree with somebody, but you need to use the critical analytical terms to refute a comment that they make. Okay? That's how a week runs. You have the time to pick when you want to do that, and then it'll roll over on that following Monday. And that's what we do. So you fall into this routine, and it doesn't change throughout the semester. Okay? What changes is the information I'm asking you to look for and the movies themselves. Okay? So points, everybody's always interested in this. Week 1 and week 2, these are extra credit weeks, okay? So regardless of how well you score in week 1 or week 2, I'm going to go back in. If you only got 35 points, I'm going to bump it up to 50 in week 1 and week 2. These are your extra credit weeks, okay? And this is built into the system so that when life does get in the way and you miss a module, you can go into your extra credit bank, because you look down here, you can score an A anywhere from 900 to 1,000 points, but there's 1,100 points made available throughout the semester, okay? So the first 2 weeks are extra credit. I'll make sure everybody's got a full 50 on both those, and thereafter, those weekly scores are all going to add up. It's cumulative to the end of the semester, and what you're trying to get to is 901 points. When you click on and you get 901 points, you have your A, and you're done with the semester. Okay? So besides that, the other 2 weeks that I want to point out to you is 8 and 16, thereabouts. Now, Those are midterms, and this may slightly shift. 8 may be 9, but I'll give you plenty of warning on that. I do a midterm review. What you want to make sure is you do not miss the midterm and the final, because look how many points they are. That's 4 weeks of class. That's a month's worth of class. So if you did every week and missed those 2, you're gonna struggle to pass. Okay? So just a heads up, you need to make sure that the dates for the midterm and the final are dates that you can make, okay? That you do not forget. And if you need to form a small group and you guys are reminding each other to do the work and hit the deadlines, that's awesome. Do it. Just don't miss it. Okay? So that's the syllabus. That's the important stuff. If you have any questions, send me an email if it's regarding the content. If it's a Canvas issue, you know where that help number is. Contact them, and they'll, I'm sure, be able to help you out. Now we're going to close out of this. I'm going to send you over to the lecture in Module 1. Again, it's a little bit longer. I'm going to explain some of these things in depth, and the date that's mentioned in there is not accurate. Use the one that's written in the text part of your page. Okay? That said, head over to Lecture Module 1. Thanks.